What's up, you guys? How are you? It's been a long time since I last shot a podcast, so I'm back here to tell you a little bit about Halloween. Right? So the question is, do you know what Halloween means? Do you know where it comes from? Do you know some cultural aspects related to it? So, what I bring to you is something that may be entirely new to you, maybe things that you haven't heard about. So, first of all, many people know, but also there are a good amount of people that don't know that Halloween, the name Halloween, comes from a Christian holiday. More precisely, the Hallows Day. So, the Hallows Day is on November 1st. So October 31st is the Hallows Day Eve, right? And so the All Hallows Eve. So from this comes from the name Halloween. So the All Hallows Eve, with time, like All Hallows Eve, and then through time it became Halloween. Okay, so the origin of the name Halloween comes from the All Hallows Eve, so the day before the All Hallows Day. Alright? First of all, the Halloween, it's started in Europe, right? And the origin of Halloween and its traditions and its cultures, there are some differences relating, there are some things from Christian cultures, from Celtic culture, and so on. First of all, there was an ancient Celtic festival. I don't know if I'm going to pronounce it correctly, but it's called Samhain. I believe it's Samhain, which it marks the arrival of the winter. Okay, so from this perspective, and for the Celtics, this passage, this beginning of winter, would make closer would make it closer our world and something that they call the other world, right, where the dead stays, where all the dead goes. So they believe that during this moment where winter comes, these two worlds would get closer. Alright, and according to their tradition, when the two worlds come closer, there were some kind of happening, some events that these dead would come back to this world, in which they would curse the plants, the crops, and everything. Okay, and from this idea of that they were haunted, that they were cursed by the dead, some representations of the Halloween emerged. The most common symbols, for example, the colors orange and black, it's not out of the blue. Actually, the colors orange and black, they are represented because the festival, the Samhain festival, it was beginning of winter. The leaves from the trees, they would die and fall, which is natural, right? It's a natural occurrence. When they die, they would become orange. They would turn from green to orange, and they die. So the color orange and black comes from this. Darker days representing black, and orange representing the dead leaves. Okay. The jack-o'-lantern also, which is that pumpkin with that face carved, also is a representation. The point is that in Europe it was a different fruit that was used. I don't remember the name right now. I really forgot the name. It was a different fruit used to make the jack-o'-lantern. And in the United States, that they started using pumpkins because it was easier to carve the pumpkin. But the tradition and the legend says that about a boy that was forbidden to enter in heaven and also forbidden to enter in hell, right? And he just goes around forever with his lantern, with a jack-o'-lantern, in search for peace, in search for rest. Okay, and in past moments, in past times, the jack-o'-lantern was only a pumpkin, the United States pumpkin, carved with a face. After they started to carve different images, different figures, right? And the masks and the fantasies is also from the Celtic tradition, relating that this fantasies, these masks, would be a form of protection according to the tradition in the Samhain festival. It would be a protection against these spirits that they were trying to haunt, they were trying to curse the living. Okay, so basically the Halloween has these elements which are very important. Okay, and the trick-or-treats, which is one of the most famous marks of Halloween, actually had its start in the Great Britain, but it was mostly spread in the United States around the 1950s. Okay, it's a totally recent activity aimed for kids to play. Right? Simply they dressed up, and as you know, they would knock everybody's door, okay, asking trick-or-treats, and they would raise some kind of candy, sometimes even money, and if they didn't receive, they would play some innocent trick, nothing serious, nothing to violate anybody's house, right? So, although there is this massive, wrongly idea that the Halloween is something from evil, something that has some devil relation, it doesn't have. It's only a festivity tradition which contains some legends, in which each and every culture in the world contains legends and so on, that raised all this idea. So if you didn't know, please be aware that Halloween has nothing to do with evil things. Alright guys? It's not relating to the devil, doesn't contain any Lucifer-like stuff. Okay? So thank you very much for watching / listening to this podcast, and I hope to see you guys soon enough. Okay guys, so see you. Bye bye.